My name is Silas, and I am 63 years old. I have spent the last 15 years of my life as a janitor at the Schönberg School in the heart of Vienna. Every morning, the first hint of dawn would paint the sky in shades of rose and gold over the city's ancient spires, long before the first student's laughter echoed through the halls. I would be there already at work, the quiet hum of the building my only company. My hands, gnarled and thick from years of scrubbing, sweeping, and polishing, moved with a practiced rhythm. The scent of floor wax and disinfectant was as familiar to me as the smell of fresh bread from the bakery down the street. It was a humble job, but I took pride in it. I always believed that a clean school was a happy school, a place where young minds could flourish without distraction. But beneath that quiet dedication, a different kind of silence had settled in my own life. My dear wife, Annalise, had passed away many years ago, and with her went much of the music in my world. We had shared a passion for it, especially the piano. I used to play, not professionally, but with a deep love for the way notes could tell a story, heal a heart. After she left, the joy of it faded, replaced by a dull ache that resonated with every passing year. Lately, the physical demands of the job had become heavier. My back ached constantly, my knees complained with every step, and the rising cost of living in Vienna made my modest janitor's salary feel thinner and thinner. I worried about how much longer I could keep up, about what would happen if I couldn't. This worry, this fear of becoming a burden, of not being enough, of being truly alone in my old age, was my internal nemesis. It whispered to me in the quiet moments, telling me my best days were long gone, that I was just an old man cleaning floors, forgotten by the world. One Tuesday morning, as I was sweeping the dust from the music room, my eyes fell upon the grand piano in the corner. It was an old instrument, beautiful in its faded elegance, but clearly neglected. Dust motes danced in the sunlight around its closed lid. I opened it gently, ran a finger over the yellowed ivory keys. I pressed a key and a dull, discordant thud echoed. It was terribly out of tune, some keys sticking, others barely making a sound. The music teacher, Fraulein Schmidt, often sighed about it, saying the school simply did not have the funds to call in a professional tuner, and so the students had to make do with electric keyboards. A flicker of something stirred within me, a memory of a skill I had once possessed, of a joy I had once felt. I remembered the delicate tools, the precise adjustments, the satisfaction of hearing a perfect chord bloom. Perhaps I thought I could fix it. Perhaps I could bring some music back to this room, to these children. It was a small, quiet rebellion against the silence in my own life, so began my secret project. Every Saturday and Sunday after my regular shifts, I would return to the music room. I had to use some of my meager savings to buy a basic tuning hammer and a few other small parts I remembered needing. My old tools, tucked away for decades, were brought out of their dusty box. The piano was much worse than I initially thought. It wasn't just out of tune. Several hammers were worn through and a few strings were frayed, threatening to snap. I spent hours patiently cleaning each key mechanism, tightening screws, and carefully tapping the tuning pins. My fingers, usually strong, trembled with the delicate work, and my eyes, which often blurred at the end of a long day, strained to see the tiny mechanisms. It was exhausting work, physically demanding in a different way than cleaning floors. My back ached, my knees screamed, but there was a quiet determination driving me. I imagined the students' faces, their joy at hearing a true, resonant chord. This was my small act of kindness, a way to fight back against the creeping feeling of uselessness. But then things took a turn for the worse. One evening, after carefully tuning nearly 3/4 of the piano, a high E string, old and brittle, snapped with a sharp twang that startled me in the empty room. My heart sank. A broken string was beyond my simple repair kit. It required a specialized tool and a new string that I absolutely could not afford. At the same time, I received a letter from my landlord. My rent was increasing significantly, effective next month. I stared at the letter, then at the broken string on the piano, and felt a wave of despair wash over me. It felt like the universe was telling me to give up, to accept my fate. I sat down on the piano bench, the cold ivory keys beneath my fingertips. I tried to play a simple melody, a lullaby Annalise used to sing, but the broken string and the discordant notes from the remaining untuned section made it sound like a mournful wail. Tears, hot and unexpected, pricked my eyes. My internal nemesis roared, "See, Silas, you can't even fix a piano. You can't even take care of yourself. You are just an old man, broken and useless, just like this instrument." I truly felt like giving up, not just on the piano, but on everything. The future seemed a bleak and lonely road stretching out before me. I sat there for a long time in the dim light of the music room, the weight of the broken string and my own broken spirit pressing down on me. I must have drifted off because I was startled awake by a soft voice. "Mr. Silas, are you all right?" It was young Lena, a student from the advanced music class. She had stayed late for a special practice session and must have heard me. She saw the open piano, the tools, the broken string. My face must have shown my exhaustion and despair. Lena, a kind and observant girl, didn't say anything more, but the next morning, as I was emptying the trash in the teacher's lounge, I overheard Fraulein Schmidt talking to another teacher. "You wouldn't believe what Mr. Silas has been doing," she whispered, her voice full of wonder. "He's been trying to fix the grand piano on his own time with his own money. Lena saw him last night, just devastated because a string broke. The poor man, he's so dedicated." Fraulein Schmidt had put out a message to the school's parent association, sharing my quiet efforts. The next day, something extraordinary happened. As I was mopping the main hallway, a distinguished-looking gentleman approached me. "Mr. Silas," he asked, extending a hand. "My name is Herr Gruber. I'm a professional piano tuner. Fraulein Schmidt told me about your work on the school's grand piano. I was so touched by your dedication that I wanted to offer my services free of charge. And I brought the specialized string and tools you need." I was stunned. My eyes welled up again, this time with a different kind of tears. He wasn't just offering to fix the piano. He was seeing me, acknowledging my hidden passion, validating my quiet struggle. It was an act of unexpected kindness that pierced through the wall of loneliness I had built around myself. Herr Gruber and I spent the entire next weekend working on the piano together. He showed me new techniques, sharing his knowledge, and I shared my stories of playing with Annalise. With his professional touch and my rekindled passion, the piano slowly, magically came back to life. Every key, every note resonated with a perfect, clear tone. When we played the first complete chord, it filled the room with such rich, vibrant sound that it brought tears to both our eyes. The students' reaction was even more profound. When they heard the grand piano, fully restored and singing, their faces lit up with pure joy. Fraulein Schmidt held a small concert the following week, and I, Mr. Silas the janitor, was invited to sit in the front row. The music played on the instrument I had helped restore filled my heart with a warmth I hadn't felt in decades. I was no longer just the janitor. I was Mr. Silas, the piano whisperer, as some of the children affectionately called me. My financial worries also eased. The parent association, deeply moved, had organized a small fund to help me, ensuring I could stay in my apartment and continue my work without constant fear. I didn't just accept the kindness, I embraced it. I started holding informal piano basics sessions for students who couldn't afford lessons, teaching them the simple joy of creating music. I helped Fraulein Schmidt maintain other instruments, my hands, once just cleaning, now serving a new purpose. I even started playing a little again, quietly for myself, allowing the melodies to once again fill the silence in my home. Years passed. I'm still at Schönberg School, though now my role has shifted slightly. I still keep the school clean, but I am also the unofficial guardian of the music room, ensuring every instrument sings its true song. The old grand piano, our piano, stands proudly, its keys still shining. One afternoon, I watched a young girl, no older than Lena was all those years ago, carefully practicing a difficult piece. She hit a wrong note, her face falling in frustration. I walked over, my steps a little slower now, and gently placed a hand on her shoulder. "Keep going," I said, my voice soft. "Every wrong note is just a step closer to the right one, and remember, the music is always there, waiting for you to find it." She smiled up at me, a genuine, hopeful smile. Later that day, as I was preparing to leave, Fraulein Schmidt called me into the music room. She pointed to a small, elegant brass plaque that had been discreetly placed on the piano's frame. It read, "This instrument sings again thanks to the quiet passion and unwavering spirit of Mr. Silas." I touched the cool metal, my heart swelling with gratitude. I had started a journey simply to fix a broken piano, and in doing so, I had mended something far more precious, my own life. And as the evening light streamed through the music room window, making the dust motes dance in the golden glow, I knew, truly knew, that things do get better, especially when we open our hearts to the unexpected melodies of kindness.